So this week we are doing candle crumble. Now, what candle we will make? Hmm, let's all find out. So per usual, once you start a candle, you should always put your warning labels and then get to your wicks. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our candle labels on the bottom of our containers of whatever you may be using. Today we are using these, so we're going to put warning labels on the bottom. Basically, the warning label tells you how to burn the candles, and that's about it. So again, we're working on candle crumbles because a lot of people inquire and wonder how they are made, and we're just going to go through it step by step. So first we're doing our warning labels on the bottom. As you guys can see, warning labels, warning labels. Then there's no candle. You cannot light a candle without a wick. In one moment, let me check on our wax that we're doing the double boiling method for. And it's just about ready to go. So now we'll get to our wicks. And these are our wicks. And cotton wicks are the best wicks to use when making candles, I've noticed. So we're using cotton wicks. And of course, we have the candle stickers that we also will need. So here we go. And then we have our candle stickers. So yeah. And each one we just get a sticker and we will place sticker, wick. Sticker, wick. And that's all we're doing right now. And again, you cannot light a candle without a wick. And this is the step that we're doing before we get on to our step, which is doing the candle crumble. So we're just putting this out of the way first. There you go. So almost done, so we can get on to the crumble. And now that we have that step done, remember this is the step that we do before we place the candle inside of here, because you cannot light a candle without the wick. So now that we have those done, we're going to move those to the side and go on to the next step. Now remember, I always say when we're doing candles, we're doing a double boiler method, which means you will get a pot, put your candle wax. The best wax that I always say to use will be the soy wax, and then you can get coconut slash apricot or apricot, however you pronounce it. And I also always add a little beeswax to give it the extra firmness and stiffness we need. So what I used was soy and beeswax mixture. And what I do, I have it on the stove in a double boiler method so that it can easily melt. So right now I'm going to go over and get it and bring it over, because the next step we're going to prepare is our next step of the candle that we're making. And we're going to be using these this week, which look like cupcakes. So one moment while we go over here and check our mixture, which this is the mixture for our crumble, which you will call it cookie crumble. Now, I always state that certain waxes causes for you to tells you to pour at certain temperatures so you can get the best scent throw. And this is paraffin wax, and right now this is at 203 degrees. We will not add fragrance to that because it's too hot. And we don't want to add it too soon or too hot, or we will not get the best scent profile. So we're going to let that sit and go on to the next step, which is, this is the next step. So right now, we already prepared this, and we already let it sit. And it is at 132, which is a good temperature to pour at. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I stir it. I'm going to make sure that I stir it because it's starting to settle. And once I stir it, we're going to pour it so that we can move on. And like I always say, we want to pour at the lowest temperature, because when you pour at the lowest temperature that is allowed, you don't have to sit and stand all night to waiting on it to stiffen up. So right now it's at the 132. So being that it's at the 132, I can pour, and I know once I pour it, we don't have to wait long because it's going to stiffen up faster because I'm not pouring it in the molds super hot. Now, however, these molds can hold up to 410 degrees, meaning if you wanted to use these to make something else, a different kind of candle, you could. We're not pouring at 410 degrees, so we don't have to worry about anything melting because we're pouring at 132 degrees. So what I'm doing now is pouring them so you guys can see. And I can already see now that these aren't going to take any time to get to stiffen up like we need, which is a good thing. And I measured them out, so we did accurate numbers, so we don't have to worry about one moment. We don't have to worry about using too much wax, because it's always a good rule of thumb too to try to measure whatever container you're using. You get a kitchen scale and you just measure it in grams, ounces, milliliters. I find it easier to measure in ounces, and your kitchen scale will have all of that on it. So we're now at 193. We still want to let that get a little cooler before we add our fragrance. Then once we add our fragrance, we're going to go on to the next step, and I'm going to go into making the candle crumble. Right now, you always want to stir it so the temperature is even. So right now, I'm just stirring it. So being that I stirred it and got the temperature even, the temperature is now from 193 to 172. So 172 with the paraffin wax that I'm using. And remember, I did say when you're doing candles, the best wax to use is soy or coconut / apricot, or apricot, however you pronounce it. However, when you're doing cookie or cake crumbles, or that's what people call it, cookie cake crumbles, but it's actually wax crumbles because we're making wax. So the best wax to use for that is paraffin wax, which is what we're using, and that's at 172. 172 is a good temperature to pour it at. So what I'm going to do now is grab our fragrance oil, which we're using peach, and pour it in here. And I always say, every pound you can use 1 ounce of oil. This is 1 pound, so we're using 1 ounce of oil. Now that I poured it in there, the next thing you want to do is you want to stir it again, which is what we're doing. We're stirring it. And it smells amazing. So now that we have that stirred, we're going to go over to the next step. Hold on one moment. One moment. So right now I'm just finishing this for the mold that we did, which you guys can see here. Now, remember, we're here to make, some would say cookie crumble, but it's not a cookie. wax crumble. So what I'm going to do is try to move these over some because I want to make sure you guys can see everything that's being done. So, okay. So now to do this crumble, you want to get something that you can get rid of and don't need. So I find it easy to go to the Dollar Tree or wherever and get one of these tin pans. And you want to put parchment paper on the inside of it. Now, once you start this, you want to make sure you stay by it and continue to stir, stir, stir to make it crumble. So what we're doing now, I'm just going to literally, guys, just pour it in here. Pour it, you see, we're pouring it in here. Now we see how liquefied it is, right? Now we like, are we really going to deal with this? But as you can see inside of here, it's starting to stiffen up. So you immediately want to move this out of your way and get your spoon and start just stirring. And start just stirring. Now again, it's liquidy, right? So once you start stirring, as you start stirring, you want to stir because that's how you're going to get the crumbles. If you don't stir and you just let it sit, it's not going to be crumbles. It's going to become stiff, and once it start to get stiffened up, we're using paraffin wax. This get way harder than regular wax. So once it's starting to stiffen up, there's going to be no way that you can bring your spoon or whatever tool you're using through it. So that's why you want to start doing it now. And what it's doing right now is, which is fine, it decide that it don't want to be on this. So you can take this out if you find it harder to work with the parchment paper on the inside. So what we're going to do is take this away and throw it away. And as I'm doing that, it's starting to stiffen up more, guys. So I know y'all see around the sides. Y'all see around the sides, it's starting to look like this. Because as I said, this paraffin wax stiffens up faster. And that's literally what it's doing. So in a minute, y'all going to see that it's not going to be liquid anymore. So I just got to make sure I pay attention to this. You can't let it sit. So I have to keep stirring and make sure I'm paying attention to this. Oh yeah. So far we have put our warning labels on the bottom of our tin containers. We put our wicks inside, and we also prepared the other layer of the candle that we're going to make today. And now we're working on our candle crumble. Most would say cookie crumble. And right now, as y'all can see, it's starting to stiffen up. This is how we want it to make the crumble. So that's where we are with this. And literally you just keep going with this until it's no longer liquefied. And we're getting there. As y'all can see, it was super liquidy. Y'all see it's starting to stiffen up, right? This is what you want to make your crumble. This is literally what you want. You want to stir, and you also want to do like this because you don't want it to be in big chunks. You want it to look like cookie cake crumble, which it's really wax crumble. And make sure you get the bottom of your pan good because it'll start to harden in the bottom. So you want to make sure you get that as well. So that's all I'm doing, making sure that it doesn't just sit. And if it get on your hand, it's fine. It's just wet. So again, keep stirring, keep stirring. You do not let this sit. If you let it sit, you're gonna be sorry. You're not gonna be able to get it out. So you just want to keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring. And this is how you do your crumble. It's definitely tiring. However, you have to keep stirring to get your crumble together. So that's what we're doing. Keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring. It's definitely a workout, but we have some solidified, some not. So guess what? You have to keep going until there's no more liquid. And you can't let it sit or you're not going to be able to get it out. But it's definitely a workout. This candle definitely looks like food. But this is definitely wax. It's all wax, guys. It's all wax. All wax. Whew. See, it got on me, but it's okay. It's just wax. Just be careful if you're not used to doing this, because I would recommend personally people to wear long sleeve clothing so that the wax don't burn you. Right now we're just making our candle crumbles to go on the top of our candles that we're going to be making shortly. That's what we're doing. And y'all seen that it was all liquid. Now we're starting to solidify, but we have to keep stirring because we still have some liquid in here. Then we'll move on to our next step once we have our candle crumbles. This is candle crumbs that we're making. Once it's done, I can put it in the camera, but I have to keep stirring so I can make sure it's in crumbs. Almost there, but this is literally what you have to do. Once we're done, the name choices, suggestions will go over to the Instagram in the bio where you guys can give your name suggestions for this candle once we're done with it. Once we're done. So for our top, I want to make sure that the other mixture that we prepared doesn't solidify on us as we're waiting on this. So what you want to do is you want to check on it, but you want to be fast. You want to make sure your eye is turned off because you don't want it to be too liquefied once it's going on your top with this. This right here is candle crumble that we're making for the top of our candles. That's what this is. And I'll show you guys exactly what it looked like once we're done, which will be soon. I just have to keep stirring so it doesn't turn into one little rock or block. You want it you want it like cookie crumbs. So yeah. Okay, and that is perfectly fine. So you have to be fast. And may look done to some people, but it's still too wet. So you have to keep doing it until it's not wet at all, until you don't see any moisture or liquid, which is almost there. So, yeah. So you just keep stirring. And of course, this pan you can you would throw it away unless you have some more crumbs and you don't have a hole in it. You literally can reuse it for another set of candle crumbs if you would like. You just have to make sure you didn't get any holes in it. So once I do crumbs, I literally use a pan 3 and 4 times until it's a hole. Once I have a hole, then I'll go to another one. So you just have to make sure you don't have a hole. But I don't have a hole in this. I haven't put a hole in it yet. So I definitely know I can get another use out of this pan. Literally. And again, like I said, doing all of this and continuing to stir, your arm will definitely get tired. Definitely get tired. So it is a good arm workout. Definitely a good arm workout. But remember, it was liquefying. Now it's solidifying, but it still has a little moisture in it. So you want to keep going because it still has a little moisture in it. And this top is scented in a peach scent. It's definitely scented in a peach scent. And this is just going to be the topping on our candle that we're doing. But many inquire and wonder how I make the crumbles, and this is how we make it. It's just another step of its own. So here we go. Definitely tired though. But you have to keep stirring, guys. Oh, and you also want to do this so you can make sure you're breaking it up like actual crumbs. As you can see. So again, you run over to your eye and check on your other mixture that I'm going to bring over to you guys once we get ready to use it shortly. You just want to make sure it doesn't fully solidify and that you don't need to put it back on the eye. So you always want to run over and check on it. And that's what we did. And then you get back to this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So continue to stir, guys. So almost done, guys. Like I told y'all, it's very tiring when you're making the crumble. Okay, guys, we're almost done with this candle crumble. Almost done. Mhm. Still a little wet, so that means you have to keep going. All right. Okay. So far with our candle today, we put on our warning labels. We added our wick. We did our bottom layer, and now we're making our candle crumble, which will go on the top of our candles today. Okay, so let's check on our other step, guys. Again, make sure it's okay, which it seems to be so far. Most of it, okay. As soon as we're ready for it, I'll bring it over for you guys to see. We're just making sure this is okay. So as you guys can see now, it's no longer liquefied. It's solidified basically now. As you guys can see. And it still has a little moisture in it, but it's done the part we needed to do to move on to the next part. So even though it has a little moisture, it's nothing. You want to make sure you can't see any moisture in it. It means that I can't see any moisture in it, and I have it crumbled as much as I want it crumbled. It should be okay for now until we get ready to use it. So that's basically how we make our crumble. Now we move on to the next step, guys. We'll move that to the side, and we're just gonna hope. Nope, we got a few more minutes. No, let's see. So remember we went ahead and did this and added our wick. Now, this is a candle. However, you cannot light this without a wick. And we see the wick is here. So next step would be, hold on. And this is just like a shish kebab skewer that I use to poke a hole in this so that we can put it in here. So what you do is lay it down. And hopefully it's not too soft to use, but we're gonna just see. And I literally just, which is not, which is good. And as you guys see, I literally just put a hole in it. Tiny, tiny hole. You guys probably can't see it because it's just that tiny. So once we do that, as you guys can see, and we just added it to that, right? So that's literally what we did. And as I'm doing that, I'm still just stirring this, right? Stirring our crumble. Okay. Now, we can go ahead if they're well enough. And they still ain't super, super stiff, like final step stiff, but good enough to place it in here. So, I'll do one more and then we'll go on to the next step. So one more, and you got to be careful because you don't want it to split because this definitely can split. I realize if you let it stick too long and you try to put this in it, it literally will split that. So you definitely still have to be careful once you're putting that in. Like really careful. So you just put this through, and because again, you're not going to be able to light the candle without the wick. So yeah. We'll make it do one more. Or matter of fact, we can let that sit and go on to the next step. So let's go on to the next step. And again, between doing all of that, you always want to go. And you can still, with your crumble, just stir it around, basically. Then you want to go on and move on to your next step. So let's get the stuff for our next step. And we're going to just bring it over here and start on our next step. Now, I know this is a blender, right? We know this is a blender, right? But we don't use it for food. This is solely for candle making, guys. So, one moment. Now, it looks like icing, right? But we want it a little stiffer. So we're going to give it probably like 2 more minutes. But I'm going to grab my spoon because you want to make sure that you scrape the sides because the sides will get hard. In the middle will still be a little runny. So you want to scrape down the sides. See how stiff the sides are? You want all of it to look like that. So I'm literally just scraping down the sides of the bowl. And this is how it looks, right? So that's all I'm doing is scraping down the sides. And a lot of people be like, what if it get too hard while you're doing it? The thing about this, when you're doing this wax, even if it start to get stiff in this bowl to where you feel like you can't get it out, all you have to do is literally turn this back on and it'll break it up. It literally will break it up. And let's say you let it sit overnight because you couldn't finish whatever candle you were making. You was like, I want to use it again. All you do is put it back on the eye for your double boiler method for a little bit. You don't even have to melt all of it. Just melt a little bit to have like a little liquid. And then you just go back to this. And that's all you do. And whatever you do, once you're using any of these mixers, blenders, or whatever, make sure you only using it for the sole purpose of wax. Do not use your kitchen utensils. Get utensils solely for wax. So remember, we're doing that, right? But in the midst of doing that, remember, we still have our crumbles over here. And now they're ready to go because if y'all can see, they're starting to be in bigger chunks. But it's easier for me to do that now because they already where we want them to be at, right? They're just trying to stiffen on the bottom, which is easy for me to just take the spoon and break it up a little bit like this, right? So here you have your wax crumbles. Because now there's no more oil, or should you say liquid, and it's actual crumbs. For the people that ask how do I make the crumbs, that was the step of making the crumbs. Your arm may get tired, but that's literally what you have to do. If you let it sit, you will not get the crumbs. That will be in big blocks. So that's literally what you have to do. So now we can go back over to this. And this is definitely ready to go. Right? Yeah, that is ready to go, right? But what we're going to do is we have more. They sat long enough. So we can go ahead and put one more in here in this. So you want to get it out of this. And once you take it out of this, you want to take your skewer in the middle and just put a little hole in it. Because that's what you're going to have to do to put it through the wick. Literally. So that's all you do. And that's literally all you do. Literally. Literally, literally. Okay. And we can do another one. So take it out. Move this over. Get whatever you're putting it in. And take it. And I always do it from the bottom because I learned doing it from the top makes it easier to literally split. Even though you only solely in the middle, it's still easier for it to split. So it's easy to just do it from the bottom. Just be gentle or it's literally splitting in half. So yeah, one moment. So next thing I gotta do is get the bag that we're gonna use to put our wax slash most will call icing inside of, which is this. So I just went and grabbed it, and then we're gonna go ahead and place this one also inside of here. There. Okay, so we did another one. Now, remember I said this is ready, right? But it's starting to stiffen up because I'm letting it sit. And again, yes, it look like icing, but it's literally wax, guys. Trust me. We did it from beginning to end. So let's get our spoon and let's get our piping bag. And guess what? We gotta add our cake ices slash candle wax. It's just candle wax, guys. Just looks like icing. So I'm just scraping down the sides, like I tell you guys to scrape down the sides so that it doesn't stiffen up or get too hard. And next, I'm gonna put it in a bag. See, guys, I'm just placing it in a bag. And remember I told you, once you put this in the bag and you cut the tip off the bottom, you have to move pretty fast. If you don't, it'll be super hard for you to get it out of here. So what we have here is our wax. And you want to make sure you push it down. Notice I'm pushing it down before I cut the hole in it. Because once you cut the hole in it, that's when it's going to start to stiffen up on you. So you want to make sure you get it all the way down and leave no spots. So before I worry about that, let's go back to our crumble. And we're just going to stir. So what we've done so far is we've done our crumbles for the top. As you guys can see, it looks like crumbles now. We did our bottom, warning labels, wicks, and then we also put the candle inside of here. And now we're on to our top part, which is the next step. So like I said, once you get ready to do this part, you want to make sure you're ready. And this may be tiring, but you have to move fast with this because like I said, once you cut the tip off of this, that's when it starts to stiffen up and you won't be able to get it out. So you see, I put the top off of that, right? So now we're going to go on to listen that in, you guys see. And there we go. There's one. Go on to the next one. There we go. Next one. Okay, guys. Now on to the next one, which is over here. Let me grab the next one. Hold on. And I'm literally just pushing it down some. That's all, guys. Just pushing it down. See, that's all we're doing. Now, we can't possibly think the candle is done, right? We can't think the candle is done because remember, did you guys forget we made our candle crumbles? So we made our candle crumbles. That's just still not going to be enough. So I took the initiative of making these little oranges, mandarins, to make it look like something on the top, guys. So we're just going to place them around. And let's not forget, we did our crumbles, right? We got to do something with our crumbles, right? So make a few crumbles, add it there. Mm-hmm. So another one. Hold on, guys. Next, there's our crumbles. Another one. And I'll pick it up and give you guys a close view in a moment. What you want to do is um, try to hurry up and put your other items on top before this gets too stiff and they don't want to stay on top. But if you ever have that issue where you let it sit and it got too hard and you still want to add stuff to the top, all you have to do is get like a heat gun and put the heat on it and melt it a little bit, and then you'll be able to stick. But if you just hurry up and do it, you don't have to worry about trying to go that route. So this is what you want to just try to hurry up and do. You can add three to that one. Yep. And don't forget our crumbles that we made. And the crumbles are going on well without actually falling off because they still have a little moisture on the inside of them. It don't feel like it as I touch it, but we just made them on live, so they're easy to deal with that way. So there, do another one here, 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 and again. Let's not forget our crumble. And it's easy that I'm doing it over here. So whatever crumbles fall, which is not many, they'll fall right in the container. So, so that's usually what we're doing. Just adding. Just went ahead and added three to the other ones because the other ones only had two. So I'm gonna just go back and add a third one like the other ones to make it even and fair. So and the scent profile for these, the scent profile is the bottom layer, which is the cupcake layer, is one moment, guys. Let's put that there. So the bottom layer, which is the cupcake layer, is um a orange tropical scent. And the white layer, which is considered our frosting, is a peach scent. And the oranges slash mandarin is an orange tropical scent. And we can just place one more, well, which is the bottom portion of it, so you guys can see. And remember, once you're doing, and I'm gonna show you guys in a minute. And remember, the easiest thing I found, the easiest thing to use is like a skewer, steak skewer. And from the bottom, I find it's the easiest. And I just put a little hole in it. And then, again, literally just put it through the wick. Because remember, you need the wick to light the candle. And as you guys can see, we did that. Now, don't forget we have the crumbles over here. But we need our what? We need our wax, right? We need our wax. And remember, I did tell you guys, once you let it sit a little, it will start to get stiff. So if it starts to get stiff, like I said before, all you do is literally take your blender, put it back in here, and it'll loosen it up. So that's literally all I'm doing is just loosening it up. And that's all we're doing, just loosening it up. Now that we loosen it up, you always, again, want to scrape down your sides because that's where it's going to get tougher and stiffer at first. And you want to get all that back to the middle and then stir it. And then again, back to looking like frosting, right? So we want to put a little bit in here just to finish that last one. And it's going to be a little to work with because I let that sit and let all the air get in it. So we're going to see if we're able to get it out. So let's see. Now we have it back. And all you do now is push it down, guys. You literally just push it down. That's all you're doing. Just pushing it down. Push it down. Now, this may not be enough, but I just want to show you guys. And let's see if we're able to work with it. And then I'll put the finished product in the camera. So, as you guys can see. And I'm just pushing it back into the bowl. That's it, to the side, as you guys can see. So we leave that. Now, again, we're going to add our mandarins or oranges. Push that in the middle. And last step is our crumbles. So one moment, get our crumbles. And again, it's easy to do it over this because once you're doing it over this, whatever falls, so here's our crumbles. And there you have it. From beginning to end, we did our crumbles. We did our, everybody wanted to learn how to make the crumbles. We did our crumbles. We did our bottom layer, which is scented in an orange tropical scent. The white part is scented in peach. The top part is scented, nope, I'm sorry. The crumbles are scented in peach. The bottom layer is scented in an orange scent. The white layer is a lemonade pineapple scent, and the mandarins are orange scent. So here you have it, guys, from top to bottom. Our mini cupcake candles from top to bottom. So what I need everybody to do is we need a name idea for this. So if you can, please click the link in the bio over here and go over to Instagram and send us your name suggestions for this, because we don't have a name for this, but this is what we did. Mini cupcake candles from top to beginning, top to bottom. So again, the bottom layer, which is this layer, is scented in an orange tropical scent. Then you have the white, which is considered the frosting, is scented in a pineapple lemonade scent. And then you have the crumbles, they're scented in peach. And then you have the oranges, or should I say mandarins, scented in an orange tropical scent as well. So again, if you guys could, please head over to Instagram and give me a name suggestion so we can name these. All right. And here we go again. And again, for the people that was wondering how to make crumbles, y'all see, this is how they look. Just like crumbs, right? A lot of people wanted to know and inquire on crumbs. So again, you guys, go over to Instagram and give me you guys name suggestions for these beauties. Our mini cupcake candles. There you go.